Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you all are doing good. As you remember, today we are going to do cover the para number 14. Lastly, we covered the para number 13. Let's to see what this para number 14 teaches. This is the para number 14, Qad Aflah al-Mu'minun. This contains the two surah, Surah Al-Hijr and Surah Al-Nahl. Surah Al-Hijr have 99 verses and Surah Al-Nahl have 128 verses. Basically, this para comprises of 227 verses. The theme in this the para covers several important topics, including the five pillars of Islam, story of past nations, signs of Allah and creation, commands to follow, lesson of success in the hereafter, for success in hereafter, and definitely in the worldly life as well. We are basically just reading the each para specifically from these aspects. Um, okay, let's just see the overview of it. This para talks about the Shahada in the verse number 36, Surah An-Nahl. And we certainly sent into every nation and messenger saying, worship Allah and avoid taught false gods. Taghut, sorry. So if we just to see about Shahada in the word para number 14, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رُسُلًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. And we certainly sent into every nation a messenger, so saying that worship Allah and avoid Taghut. Now what is Taghut? Taghut is everything that we just do give importance more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. That is going to be like Taghut. Okay, so if we go with the next one about Salah, this para number 14 teaches us, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. So when you recite the Quran, seek refuge. Seek refuge of what? Seek refuge in Allah from shaitan. And shaitan, the expelled from what? From his mercy, mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next one is about zakat, charity. Charity is helping the poor and needy is emphasized here. Wallahu fadlu ba'dakum ala ba'din fil rizq. And Allah has favored some of you over others in provision. The next one is Saum, fasting. Fasting teaches self-control and gratitude. فَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَاشْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ. The verse number 114 of Surah Nahl. فَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا. Halalan tayyiban washkuru ni'matallahi. So eat of what Allah has provided for you, which is lawful and good. And be grateful for the favor of Allah. So here we can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about not only the fasting, but also for taking halal food and keep ourselves prohibited from the foods that Allah just do prohibit us. Okay, next one is the stories of the prophets mentioned in para number 14. The story of Prophet Ibrahim is mentioned in Surah Nahl from verse number 20 to verse number 123. Prophet Ibrahim is described as an ummah, imam, the leader of the righteousness. Then he was always grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was guided to the straight path. So there, this story of Prophet Ibrahim teaches the trust in Allah and be grateful for this blessing. Then little bit a part of Prophet Lut alayhi salam is mentioned in verse number 57 to 77. We all also covered this in previous para as well. But the aspect mentioned here in this Surah Hijr is teaching us Prophet Lut warned his people about their immoral acts. They refused and Allah sent punishment upon them. So avoid and obey Allah's command, right? Okay, so the next one is about story of Prophet Saleh alayhi salam. So what does this prophet story teach us? The Prophet Saleh and the she camel. We already covered in para number 12 and 11 about this in detail. But this aspect from the verse 80 to 84, it explains that the people of Samud rejected Prophet Saleh. So Allah set a she camel as a test because they want the sign of Allah. And then Allah just to prohibit them to kill this animal, but they just to kill that she camel and they just go against Allah's command. So they were punished with destruction. That's why we should never reject Allah's sign and follow the commands of Allah. Next one is story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam mentioned in Surah Nahl from verse number 10 to 14, which teaches us Musa was given miracles by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was not magician as accused by Pharaoh. Next one is he called his people to worship only one Allah and trust Allah's plan in difficult times, just like Prophet Musa alayhi salam trust always in Allah, even he was facing troubles and difficulties. Next, the topic mentioned here are about teachings and moral lessons. Obedience to Allah leads to success in the verse number 97 of Surah Nahl. Whoever does righteousness, whatever male, sorry, Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while believing, we will surely grant them a good life. So if you want good life, Allah gives us the formula to just to follow the righteousness. So good deeds bring blessing in life and the hereafter. Next one, the importance of patience and guys, if we and gratitude. Surah An-Nahl, verse number 110. Then indeed your Lord, to those who immigrated after being persecuted and then fought and were patient, indeed your Lord after that is forgiving and merciful. So hardships are temporary and Allah rewards patience. So make sure whenever you are facing the hardship, keep and deal your situations with the patience and perseverance. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is definitely going to help you out. The creation of Allah is a sign of His existence. The from previous 3 to 4 paras, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is repeating in every para that the creation of Allah, the nature and the things created in this world are a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are some signs of existence of Allah, of the mercy of Allah, of the power of Allah. So we need to think about them, find out about them, discover them, and just to believe and trust Allah about these. Now in Surah Nahl, the verse number 65, Allah mentioned, and Allah sent down water from the sky, and with it gives life to the earth after its liveliness. So here Allah mentioned the phenomena, the nature scene is about rain. Like Allah sent down water from the sky. Even we have developed so much, we have so much kind of the technologies, but still we are dependent on Allah's mercy of the rain for having good agricultural productivity in our fields and for all other day-to-day life servings, and even for good production of the food, and for having a good environment round about us. It's the kind of the basic necessity we human needs, and we are dependent on rain for having a youthfulness of our earth, for having a liveliness in a planet, in our planet earth, for having a good life and a livable life on earth. The rain is very important, right? So we should reflect on nature and recognize Allah's greatness. Till today, we are unable to just to beat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, and to just to create artificial things as per just how do Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for us. So we should always be very thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should recognize wholeheartedly the power of Allah, the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next one is speak kindly and do not lie. This is the rule of about good behavior. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us the moral values, the ethics. We can say Allah is teaching us in Surah Nahl, verse number 105. It is only those who do not believe in the words of Allah who invent falsehood, and it is they who are liars. So liars are always those who didn't believe in Allah. Allah always says to teach us to be truthful. So always speak the truth and avoid dishonesty. Next one is the conclusion. Key takeaways for the students: worship Allah and follow the 5 pillars of Islam. Next one is learn from the stories of Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Lut, Prophet Saleh, and Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Follow Allah's guidance for a successful life and reward in the hereafter. Be patient, be grateful, and always truthful. Recognize Allah's sign in nature and be thankful. Next one is question for students. What is the lesson from this para that you can apply in your life? This with the para number 15. Like what are the teachings? For now, you have to just to let me know the answer of it. And inshallah, we will cover up the remaining in the next class. Okay. Have a nice day till then. Allah Hafiz.